Hello everyone, in this class I am going to discuss about the second unit, that is Phylum Porifera. Before getting to the topic, let me discuss few things about the concept of metazoa, which seems to be basic, and concept of metazoa in the sense about the levels of organization. And we all know, we all have multicellular organisms as well as unicellular organisms. But in case of multicellular organisms, the organism's body is made up of or organized by different types of cells, and each cells or each organs performs a particular function. And here we have 4 different types of levels of organization. First one is cellular level of organization, second one is tissue level of organization, third one organ level of organization, fourth one organ system level of organization. These are the 4 organizations or levels of organization. So let's start with the first one, that is cellular level. So cellular level means here what happens is the cells aggregate loosely. Okay, cells aggregate loosely and there is no formation of, there is no tissues or particular organs. Example for this particular level of organization is porifers. And the second one is tissue level. So here in case of this group of cells organized into tissues only tissues, and example for this particular level of organization is Coelenterata and Ctenophora. Third one is organ level of organization. In case of this, cells are organized into tissues, tissues are organized into organs, and that particular organs performs a different function. Example for this particular level of organization is Platyhelminthes. And coming to the last one, that is organ system of organization. In case of this, as I told you before, cells are organized into tissues, tissues are organized into organs, organs are organized into organ system which performs a particular function, and we can give an example of Annelida to Chordata. So these are the 4 levels of organization. That is what is the concept of metazoa. That for the first one is cellular level, second one is tissue level, and the third one is organ level, fourth one is organ system level. These are the 4 levels of organization. And let's start with phylum Porifera general characteristics and classification. So here Porifera is a Latin word. Porus means pore, fera or fero means to bear. Okay, so Porifera means pores bearing animals. Pores bearing animals refers to as porous body, okay, with numerous openings at the surface. Okay, Porifera is a Latin word. Porous refers to pore, fera or fero refers to bear. So pore bearing animals we can say, and this particular poriferans is popularly known as sponges. And the next point, they are multicellular with cellular level of body organization. As I told you before, they are the multicellular organisms with a cellular level of body organization. Each cells performs a vital function. Okay, here in case of cellular level of body organization, cells are loosely aggregated and there is no tissue or particular organ. And the next point, diploblastic and asymmetrical. So asymmetrical in the sense are radially symmetrical we can say, and they are aquatic in nature, mostly marine, few are freshwater. Mostly marine, few are freshwater. Solitary or colonial. Solitary in the sense of single. Okay, colonial means living in a group, colonies, by making in colonies. And they are sessile or sedentary. Sessile means free living, sedentary means attached to the substratum. Okay, and body is vase-like body, cylindrical, tubular, cushion shaped. Okay, they have the vase-like cylindrical tubular cushion-shaped body. Many are branched. And next point, body perforated by a numerous pores called ostia. Body perforated a numerous pores called ostia. So through which this particular pores, water enters to the body of an organism, and through which the water enters to the paragastric cavity or enters to the body of the organism, that is called spongocyl. Opening to this exterior body, a large opening called the osculum. So here we have to consider two important terminologies. One is ostia and the second one is osculum. So here it is ostia is anterior most opening or a porous through which and this particular ostia is present all over the body. It's a numerous pores which is present on the body surface through which water enters to the paragastric cavity, and that particular water comes out through a large opening called osculum. Okay, the one thing is ostium and the other thing is osculum. Osculum is the exterior opening through which water comes out of the organism's body. And the next point, body wall is made up of two layers. Body wall is made up of two layers. As I told you before, diploblastic. Body wall is made up of two layers. And outer dermal layer. One is the outer dermal layer. This is also called as pinacoderm, and the second one is inner gastral layer. That is what is called choanoderm. Okay, body is made up of two layers. One is outer dermal layer, also known as pinacoderm, and the inner gastral layer, that is choanoderm. And in between these two layers, there is a gelatinous non-cellular membrane or the mesenchyme present. Okay, in between these two layers, we have gelatinous non-cellular mesenchyme. And this mesenchyme consists of skeletal elements as well as the amoeboid cells. Then next point, gastrodermal layer lined with a special flagellated cell. Okay, and this gastrodermal layer lined with the special flagellated cells called choanocytes. Okay, these cells have a thread-like flagella and involved in food gathering or capturing of a small prey such as microorganisms and all. And here choanocytes are always associated with amoebocytes involved in the digestion process as well as in the transporting food materials all over the body. Okay, so here we have to consider two major things, that is the gastrodermal layer lined with a special flagellated cells, that is what is called choanocytes, and these choanocytes have a kind of thread-like flagella, and this particular thread-like structure, the flagella, involved in food gathering or capturing of the small prey such as microorganisms and all. And these choanocytes are always associated with amoebocytes involved in the digestion process as well as in transporting food materials all over the body. So this is an example or the diagrammatic representation. This particular structure is called amoebocyte, and this is associated with the choanocyte. In between these we have a thread-like structure, that is what is called flagella. Okay, and the next one is they possess an internal skeleton in the form of needle-like structure. Okay, in the form of needle-like structure is called as spicules. They also have the internal skeleton in the form of needle-like structure, that is what is called spicules, or in the form of fibers, also in the form of fibers, that is what is called spongin fibers. And next point, spicules may be calcareous or siliceous, whereas spongin fibers are made up of a particular protein called spongin. Spongin, S-P-O-N-G-I-N, spongin. Okay, so here, as I told you before, they have the poriferans have the internal skeleton, that is what is called spicules, or they also possesses fibrous, that is what is called a spongin fiber. Here what happens is the spicules may be calcareous, that can be calcareous and also siliceous, whereas the spongin fibers are made up of a particular protein, a specialized protein called spongin. And next is about the canal system. The water canal system is a unique feature in Porifera. Water canal system is a unique feature in Porifera. It's a system of space or a cavity or a canal, we can say, system of space or canal, we can say, through which water flows within the sponge body, through which water flows within the sponge body. Okay, then next is about the respiration and excretion. The respiration and excretion through general body surface. It's a simple type, and reproduction is both by asexual and sexual method. Reproduction is both by asexual and sexual method. Here, asexual reproduction may be either by the formation of buds. Asexual reproduction is by the formation of buds, or by production of the resistant bodies called gemmules. Resistant bodies are called gemmules. So what is this gemmules? Gemmules are the asexual reproductive buds. Asexual reproductive buds. Here they formed during the unfavorable condition. They formed during the unfavorable condition, and this is the structure of gemmule. Here we have a micropyle. At the anterior end we have a micropyle, which is a kind of opening, and the peripheral layer of the gemmule is a spicule, is made up of a spicule. Peripheral layer is made up of a spicules, and inner membrane is present, outer membrane is present. At the center we have a archaeocytes mass. So this is a gemmule, which is a round shaped, okay, surrounded by a spicules formed during the unfavorable condition, and it is a asexual reproductive bird. Then next point is about nervous system and circulatory system. In case of phylum Porifera, nervous system and circulatory system is absent. Digestion is intracellular. Nutrition is holozoic. Holozoic mode of nutrition is present. Fertilization is internal. Asexual reproduction is by the formation and fusion of gametes. Okay, so reproduction is both by asexual and sexual means. Sexual is by the formation and fusion of gametes. Asexual reproduction by the formation of buds or by the production of a resistant bodies called gemmules. And the next point, development is indirect. Okay, so indirect development means they have the larval forms, okay, free swimming larval forms called amphiblastula larva and parenchyma larva. These are the two important larval forms that I am going to explain in the next class. Amphiblastula larva and the parenchyma larva. That's why the development is indirect. Okay, development is indirect, includes free swimming larva, amphiblastula and parenchyma larva, and they have high power of regeneration. They have the ability to regenerate. Regeneration ability is there, as in case of the echinoderms and platyhelminthes. Okay, example for this poriferans, phylum poriferans is Cycone, Grantia, Euplectella, Spongilla and Euspongilla. Okay, these are the few examples for phylum Porifera. So let me summarize this once again. If you get this particular question in examination, you have to write each and every point because each and every point seems to be very important. So the general characteristics is like this. First you have to write about what is Porifera and all. Porifera means it's a pore-bearing animals. Okay, pore-bearing animals. They have a numerous pores on their body surface, and popularly known as sponges, and they are multicellular with a cellular level of organization. Diploblastic, the layer, body layer, two body layer. They have the two body layer. That's why they have. It's called as a diploblastic. If it is the body wall is made up of 3 layers, then it is triploblastic. We all know that. And they are asymmetrical. Then aquatic. All of them are aquatic. Mostly marine, and few are freshwater forms. Solitary or colonial. They live single or by forming colonies. Okay, sessile or sedentary. Sessile means free living, sedentary means attached to the substratum. Free living larval forms we can give an example. And body is vase-like, cylindrical, tubular, cushion shaped. Many are branched. And body perforated by a numerous pores. That is what is called ostium, through which water enters to the paragastric cavity. That is what is called spongocoel, and opening to the exterior by a large opening called osculum. These are the two important terminologies, ostia and osculum. Body wall is made up of 2 layers, as I told you before. Diploblastic, 2 layers. The outer dermal layer, that is what is called pinacoderm. Inner gastral layer is called choanoderm. And in between these 2 layers, there is a presence of gelatinous non-cellular mesenchyme. And this mesenchyme consists of skeletal elements as well as amoeboid cells. Okay, then gastrodermal layer lined with a special flagellated cells called choanocytes. This choanocytes contains a thread-like structure, that is what is called a flagella thread-like structure, and helps in the gathering or capturing of prey or food particles involved. And here the next point is choanocytes are always associated with amoebocytes, involved in the digestion process as well as in the transporting food materials all over the organism's body. Okay, then they possesses an internal skeleton in the form of a needle-like spine-like structure called spicules, and in the form of fibers called a spongin fiber. Here spicules may be calcareous or siliceous, made up of calcium carbonate or silica. Okay, whereas the spongin fibers are made up of a specialized protein called spongin. Canal system is a unique feature in case of poriferans. It's a system of canals or a space, I can say, through which water flows throughout or within the sponge body. Okay, then respiration, excretion through a general body surface. Reproduction is both by asexual and sexual means. Asexual reproduction is by the formation of budding or by the production of resistant bodies called gemmules. Nervous system and circulatory system is absent, since it is a primitive organisms or a primitive phyla. Nervous system and circulatory system is absent. Digestion is intracellular. The mode of nutrition is holozoic. Fertilization is internal. Sexual reproduction is by the formation and the fusion of gametes. Development is indirect, includes a free-swimming larvas called amphiblastula larva and parenchyma larva. And they also have the high power of regeneration. Example for this particular phylum is a Cycon, Grantia, Spongilla, Euspongia, Euplectilla. These are the few examples. So let's start with the classification of phylum Porifera. So here this particular phylum includes about 5,000 species. Okay, we can see around 5,000 different species under phylum Porifera. So the classification is based on the nature of skeleton they possess. Okay, nature of skeleton they possess. We have 3 classes under phylum Porifera. The first one is Calcarea, second one is Exactinellida, third one is Demospongia. These are the 3 classes which comes under phylum Porifera. And let's start with the Calcarea, class Calcarea. Here all the organisms are exclusively marine. All the organisms are exclusively marine and they live in shallow water. They live in shallow water. And the organisms which comes under class Calcarea, they have the calcareous sponges. Okay, calcareous sponges, they are the calcareous sponges, measures below 10 centimeter. The length of the body is below 10 centimeter. They are solitary or colonial. They may live alone, a single, or by making and colonies. Okay, solitary or colonial. Body is cylindrical shaped, vase-like body. They have the cylindrical and vase-like body. Skeleton consists of calcareous spicules. Okay, that's why the particular organisms are grouped under class Calcarea. Okay, skeleton consists of calcareous spicules. Skeleton is made up of calcium carbonate. Canal system may be ascenoid, cyclonoid type. Okay, canal system may be ascenoid type or the cyclonoid type. That I will explain in the next class about the water canal system. Example for this particular class is Cycon and Gracia. These two are the example, the well-known example or common example for the class Calcarea. Then the second one, class 2, that is Exactinellida. Here they are exclusively marine, maybe or many in deep seas. Many in deep seas. Sponges have a siliceous skeleton composed of 6 rayed spicules. Okay, so here the organisms which comes under class Exactinellida, they have the siliceous skeleton, which means the skeleton is made up, internal skeleton is made up of silica. Okay, traces of silica and composed of 6 rayed spicules. Okay, and I am going to explain about the spicules and about the classification of spicules. At that time you will get to know about the types or different classes of spicules. And the skeleton is beautiful and glass-like. They have a beautiful and glass-like skeleton, hence they are called glass sponges. Hence they are called glass sponges. And next point, body is cylindrical, cup-shaped or vase-like, moderate sized, some reach 3 feet. Okay, here we can see in this particular class we can see the moderate sized or medium sized organisms. Some may reach around 3 feet in length. Example is Euplectilla, etc. Okay. Coming to the last class, that is Demospongia. Last class is Demospongia. Here all marine except Spongilidae. Okay, the organisms which comes under this particular class Demospongia, they all are marine except a single group called a Spongilidae. Okay, small to large sized. Under this class we can see a smaller organisms as well as the larger organisms, solitary or colonial. Body is vase-like, cup-shaped or a cushion-shaped. Then skeleton is siliceous again. They have the skeleton which is made up of silica and spicules or spongin fibers are absent. This is very important. Yeah, in case of class Demospongia, there is no spicules or spongin fibers. Okay, spicules or spongin fibers are absent in case of the organisms which comes under Demospongia. Canal system is leuconoid type. Leuconoid canal system we can see. Example is Spongilla and Euspongia. Okay, these are the two examples for class Demospongia. Then, so when we get the classification, you have to write each and everything about the classification. Under phylum Porifera, we have three major classes. One is Calcarea, Exactinellida and Demospongia. And here Calcarea, they measures below 10 centimeter, and Exactinellida, they can reach about 3 feet in length. Other thing is, in case of Demospongia, there is no spicules or the internal skeleton or the spongin fibers. Okay, so spicules or spongin fibers are absent in case of Demospongia. Example for this Calcarea is Sycon and Grantia, and for the second one is Exactinellida, Euplectilla. Third one is Spongilla and Euspongia. So in case of Demospongia, all are marine except Spongillidae, and the skeleton is siliceous in case of Demospongia. Here also the internal skeleton is made up of siliceous or the silica, made up of silica in case of Exactinellida. In case of Calcarea, exclusively animals or bears or organisms bears a skeleton which is made up of a calcium carbonate, which is made up of a calcium carbonate. Calcareous spicules are present. This is about the classification, and let's start with the sponge spicules. What is this sponge spicules? Spicules, in the sense, in general, it's a structural elements which gives structural support to the organism. Okay, sponge spicules or skeletal spicules, we can say it is an structural elements which gives structural support to the organisms. Also acts as a defensive mechanism. Okay, it also acts as a defensive mechanism. Spicules are also called as sclerites. Spicules are also called as sclerites. Sclerites of sponges are small, definite, needle-like, cylindrical or crystalline bodies. They have the crystalline bodies. Spicules or the sclerites are small, definite, needle-like, crystalline bodies. These spicules are secreted by the special cells called scleroblast. This is very important. Spicules are secreted by the special cells called scleroblasts. So in calcareous sponges, spicules are composed of calcium carbonate with traces of sodium, magnesium and sulfate. Okay, so as I told you before, in the classification we have spicules which is made up of calcium or calcareous or siliceous type, isn't it? So in case of calcareous sponges, spicules are composed of calcium carbonate along with the traces of sulfate, sodium and magnesium. In siliceous sponges, they are composed of clear glassy colloidal silica. Okay, in case of siliceous sponges, it is made up of a clear glassy silica. This is about the sponge spicules. I'll explain the classification of spicules in the next class. Thank you.